Social media has become an important aspect of our lives. It's very convenient and less time-consuming than traditional ways of communication, but it also has its cons. Sometimes we share confidential information via sites such as WhatsApp. So what are the chances that your personal information could land up in the wrong hands? Well, Communications and Digital Technologies Minister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams announced this week that her WhatsApp account has been hacked. Let's discuss this now with tech expert Aki Anastasio joining us via Zoom, a very safe platform, we hope. Aki, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning, Viveka. Lovely to be with you. Well, Zoom has had its challenges as well, but good to be with you.
Well, after all these years, Aki, yes, we go back a long way as well. So let's talk about what's happening with WhatsApp. What do we know about what's happening in the sphere on this platform with regard to hacking?
Well, the minister says that her account was hacked on Monday and confidential information was accessed. We don't quite know the full story yet as to what information, how she was hacked, but you know, the vulnerability of WhatsApp has been in the spotlight. You may remember earlier this year, the world's richest man, Amazon owner and co-founder Jeff Bezos, he was hacked by allegedly a Saudi prince, if you remember earlier this year. So there have been certain vulnerabilities. WhatsApp, the owner of the company, of course, is Facebook. They constantly issue alerts and they constantly issue updates. So they're always plugging in whenever there is any kind of vulnerability. So earlier this year, for example, there was one that allowed hackers to send you a GIF, you know, those funny memes that you might get on your phone. You open it up, unsuspectingly, it downloads the malicious software on your phone, and hackers can then access certain information. Jeff Bezos was hacked apparently by the Pegasus hack, where you would get a voice call over WhatsApp, and that would download the malicious software onto your phone, and hackers were able to get into the phone via that way. But, you know, you can do certain things to prevent these things from happening, Viveka.
Well, we will talk about that in just a moment. But first I want to know about the actual hacking, Aki, and what it is that they might be looking for. Are we looking at mostly sort of high-profile people who are at risk of being hacked? I mean, they're always at risk of being violated in this way as well. Or could they be looking for ordinary folks' information? And what information would they be looking for, and what would they use it for?
Well, you know, people share all sorts of information over WhatsApp. It might be confidential business information. It might be perhaps you sharing photographs with a partner that you don't want other people to see, for example. It's basically confidential information that you might be sharing with another party that you don't want getting into people's hands. But when you are dealing at that level of sharing such personal information, even information that a minister would share with somebody else that's highly confidential, I certainly wouldn't use a platform like WhatsApp to do that. So there are various methods that people are using this platform for, and hackers obviously want that information. In Jeff Bezos's case, it was blackmail. So there can be various reasons why hackers would want to get access to that information.
All right, so what do we do to protect ourselves? Because for most people, it is affordable. You know, if they are in certain places where they're able to use WhatsApp rather than SMSs, it's cheaper, it's convenient, like we say. What do we do? What do we share? What do we not share on this platform? And any others as well that might be just as risky.
Absolutely. So firstly, the best thing to do is we must remember that WhatsApp can only be accessed on one phone device at a time. Okay, so we must remember that. Now, hackers can get into that information by using social engineering, for example, and that is basically to convince you that, or convince a cellular provider that your SIM card or your phone has been stolen. You need a replacement SIM card. As soon as I have your SIM card, I can access your WhatsApp account if you don't have the necessary protection in your WhatsApp account. So if you and Dan open your phones right now and go into the settings, under security settings, you should see a setting over there that is called two-step verification. And that is probably the best way to secure yourself. What the two-step verification forces you to do is put a 6-digit password, okay? And it uses SMS to also authenticate you when you're logging onto your device. I've also got on my device facial recognition. So now whenever I open WhatsApp, I've got to point the device to my face. it recognizes my face, and only then does WhatsApp actually open up. What you also need to do, Uveka, is also we need to understand that WhatsApp have got this, software that allows you to access WhatsApp on a browser, on your computer, for example. So you need to check in your settings what other devices is your WhatsApp logged into. So, for example, if I'm talking to you and you go to the bathroom, for example, I can take your phone if it's not locked. I can open the WhatsApp browser. There's a QR code. I scan the QR code, and your WhatsApp appears on my computer. And I close my computer down. Wow. You carry on with your day, and I can access your messages whenever I can and whenever I want to without you being aware of it. So you need to check what devices are logged in as well and make sure that those devices are logged out. So those basic security things that you can do, including making sure you're running the latest version of WhatsApp, update your software on your phone, will basically prevent you from being hacked and put the necessary verification so that your phone isn't just open when I open and click a button. You must have a password on your phone to access your device.
So, Aki, we are talking about WhatsApp, but what about other things like Messenger, also related to Facebook and things, and, you know, whatever other platforms that we might be using to communicate with one another? What are the risks there as well? You know, for me now, this is worrying. I'll have to start worrying about all these other things where I might be vulnerable. And I've made it clear, I don't trust technology. I never have.
Well, yes, technology is very much part of our lives. And the reality, Uveka, is that many of these devices, many of these platforms, they all have their own vulnerabilities. They're built by human beings. What we can do is, as much as possible, add the additional layers of security. So always remember two-factor authentication. In other words, as soon as you log into one of these devices or you log your email onto another device, that you've got your cell phone number, that it'll send you a cell phone SMS to say, Uveka, you're about to log in to another computer. Is this actually you? So you put those security levels of authentication. That's probably the best way to protect yourself. Make sure you have passwords on everything, and make sure that you're accessing the same computer all the time, the same device all the time, and you know where you're logged into. The big danger, Uveka, is public Wi-Fi hotspots.
Yes.
I never log into a public Wi-Fi hotspot, because how do you trust that free Wi-Fi that says when it comes onto your Wi-Fi connections and it says free Wi-Fi available? How do you trust that? Who do you know is behind that? It could be a hacker that set up that free Wi-Fi hotspot. You connect into that hotspot, and this has happened in airports, in business lounges, and unsuspectingly somebody sitting on the other side, and they can see exactly what you're doing on your phone or your computer. So be ultra cautious. Treat everything with a high level of security.
Well, you've just made me even more paranoid than I already am, Aki. Now, Dan's very curious. I've never heard of something called Telegram. Just a quick question about that. What do we know about that? Is it also risky?
Well, listen, Telegram is another device. It's another platform that you can send messages. They say it's more encrypted than WhatsApp, for example. Many people are using it. They say that it's more difficult to get into. The encryption is better and it's safer. But at the end of the day, it's still built by humans, and I'm sure it has its own vulnerabilities. I do use that as well sometimes, but it's another version. It's a version, another version of messaging, which they say is a lot more secure. But the problem with this is, remember that, not everybody's on Telegram, and this is the beauty, and this is the strength that WhatsApp has. 2.5 billion people in the world are using WhatsApp. And it's a scale thing, right? So you want to be able to talk to people that are on your contacts list. They might not be on Telegram, for example, because there aren't as many people using it. And that's the frustration for most users. It's about scale. And it's difficult to catch up to WhatsApp with 2.5 billion users and growing.
Okay. Aki Anastasiou, thank you so much. How to protect ourselves. Dan has some beef with you, though. You said he's...
Aki.
Yeah, he's not a Liverpool supporter.
Aki still there? Is Aki still there?
Sorry, Aki, we had to throw this at you.
But just on this point, Aki is making a very important point. Scale is an issue, and the more Telegram scales up, the more security issues might be likely. For now, it might be more encrypted and safe, but who knows as they grow,
time will tell.
or
the time
if they will grow. Aki, why are you wearing a black shirt? Why are you wearing a black shirt? Aki?
Well, listen, because I'm a Buccaneer, you see.
Oh, that's your biggest flaw, my
We can't
brother.
talk to you ever
That's your
again.
biggest flaw. You still support Orlando Pirates,
and he's not a Liverpool supporter either.
Now, here's a warning. You know that the only Soweto derby that is for real, that is authentic, Makoya from Ekasi, it's Pirates and Swallows. You know that.
Yes, the Dube Birds, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I'm looking forward to that.
long before you were born, I was watching Moroka Swallows play Orlando Pirates, and we used to beat them at Jabav, and they used to beat us at Orlando Stadium. We're back in the PSL now, so there's a warning. Please phone Chairman Ivan Khoza and tell them the Dube Birds are back. The beautiful birds are back, and that derby is going to be lit. Watch this space.
Well, Dan, I can't wait. And Uveka, if you had to hack into Dan's phone, you'd only see pictures of, swallows on his phone. That's all you find on his phone. Nothing else. He's obsessed. And that's why he's been in such a good mood in 2020.
We started a war here. Okay, Aki, for your own safety, I'm going to go now.
Let's
For
keep
your
it
own
digital.
safety.
Let's keep this digital for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Aki
Aki
Anastasia.
Anastasiou. Great to talk to him after all these years. We go back, you and I both, with Aki,
Oh,
to
yeah,
radio.
I've known
Yeah.
Aki for years. Lovely to hear from him.
Yes, and chat to
Yeah.
him.